Hello and Assalamu alaikum viewers of this episode of Zoom In. Zoom In means we are zooming in on a particular issue, and right now the issue is Pakistan's new Prime Minister, changes in the government, and the challenges ahead. With Shahbaz Sharif as the 23rd Prime Minister of Pakistan, the country has taken another step forward in its checkered political history, which has been a mix of military and civilian governments since 1947. With this, the apparent political turbulence is over, and it is likely to provide a breather to a struggling economy. Phone calls by the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the Turkish President Recep Erdogan augur well for the new Prime Minister and the financial markets, it seems, which rebounded with a record single-day jump of 1,700 points at the Pakistan Stock Exchange on Monday. The latest crisis had in fact been triggered early March by a vote of no confidence motion against Imran Khan by the combined opposition. Khan precipitated the situation for himself by calling the move an externally driven conspiracy against his government. Imran Khan based his claim on a diplomatic cable from Washington that the country's ambassador Dr. Asad Majid had sent home after a meeting which was called a very harsh meeting with an American official, Donald Lu. Reportedly, according to the cable, the US official threatened Pakistan with serious consequences if the vote of no confidence against Imran Khan could not sail through. So that was a pretty rough message according to the cable and also according to the people who are privy to the cable itself. Imran Khan's claim on this externally driven conspiracy generated a slew of very acrimonious debate accompanied by fake and motivated news analysis and disinformation, an unprecedented commotion among the rank and file in Pakistan, and essentially divided people into blocks. There were those who endorsed Prime Minister Khan's claim that his government was being destabilized from abroad with the help of local facilitators. And of course, there were those who literally trashed the foreign conspiracy theory as a mere political ploy by the then Prime Minister to fend off the trouble that had arisen out of the no confidence motion against him. Now, despite all the table talk and newsroom analysis about Khan's unpopularity among major stakeholders of Pakistan's political economy, Khan still seems to enjoy considerable popular support. It was visible on Sunday, April the 10th, in various cities of Pakistan. He basically plans to now organize more such events in a push for early elections, but whether or not such crowds, the crowds that people witnessed and watched over social media across Pakistan are sufficient to return him to power is an altogether different question. Whether Shahbaz Sharif, as the new Prime Minister, can handle the situation in a politically divided landscape that is also marred by mutual distrust and deep acrimony. Will he be able to rebalance relations with the mighty military establishment? He is known as a dove, reconciliatory vis-a-vis the military, unlike his elder brother Nawaz Sharif, who until very recently had been spitting venom against the army, against the general headquarters, and holding the military responsible for all his political troubles as well. Sharif, the elder Sharif, who was 3 times Prime Minister, had annoyed the general headquarters by accusing it of interference in political affairs and backing non-state actors as well as orchestrating campaigns against himself, which led to the ouster of Nawaz Sharif in 2017. Now, what Pakistan is witnessing today is unfortunately a total reversal of narratives. Until very recently, Pakistanis were being told that the Sharifs, the entire family, and Zardaris, Asif Ali Zardari, the former president, are the most corrupt politicians of this country. In fact, the younger Sharif, the new prime minister, was set to appear before an accountability court in Lahore on April the 11th on charges of money laundering. It's a multi-billion rupees case involving the entire Shahbaz Sharif family. But instead, he was sworn in as the 23rd Prime Minister of Pakistan. Once dubbed as a blue-eyed boy of the military establishment, Imran Khan today stands estranged, embittered, and at variance with the military over certain policy issues, including what critics call misplaced hyper-nationalism. He had been talking about national sovereignty, that he would not be ready to serve as a slave to another country, would not take dictation from outside powers. So this is what was called and also condemned as hyper-nationalism. On the contrary, an allegedly corrupt Shahbaz Sharif, according to the indictment that was to take place on April the 11th, who has been thrice the Chief Minister of Pakistan's most populous Punjab province, has become the Prime Minister of this country based on a coalition that comprises 13 parties. Most of them have nothing in common except their dislike and contempt for the former Prime Minister. Now, the big question facing us all is, even if Imran Khan's claim of conspiracy against his government resonates with his followers inside the country as well as abroad, can he stage a comeback? Will Imran Khan be able to overcome the socio-political, legal hurdles that key stakeholders of the system have now put in his way, or at least threatening him and his party leaders with these hurdles? Will the elections be free and fair whenever they are held for Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf? Now, it seems that he is pitched against heavy odds from within the political economy of Pakistan. Divergences on issues such as the nature and scale of Pakistan's relations with the two major powers, that is the United States and China, could also be a big inhibiting factor. It led to Imran Khan's exit from power, and it may also prevent his entry or re-entry into the power corridors. Events in the last few hours that Imran Khan spent in the office suggest that he faces an extremely arduous, formidable task ahead of fresh elections. Let's wait and see whether he will be able to defy the odds against him.